we contributed to advancing democracy, but we are not yet where we ought to be. But I know there's a special light at the end of the tunnel. And with the current administration of President Ahmed Tinubu, I'm pretty much sure that by the time he will be rounding up his second year in office, the Nigerians will begin to see some progress, towards the desired destination, for Nigeria.
All right, sir. How do you think Nigeria itself has fared over these years with our democracy? And especially, I would like you to comment on the steps that the current administration has taken in terms of, like we do know about the ongoing litigation against some states or the states of the Federation in regards to conduct of local government election. I would just want to have your general comment as regards efforts, deliberate efforts, if we may call that so, made by the current administration in terms of deepening our democracy.
Yes, Nigeria as an entity, in my own opinion, has fared well. At least we are still Nigeria. Recall that over the years, a number of soothsayers have predicted Nigeria's dissolution. That has never, happened, and there is no, light at the end of the tunnel in terms of that happening, because the part of our strength finds expression in our unity and diversity. Having said that, the current administration has taken some bold steps in terms of deepening our democracy. We cannot have democracy that is worth its name without having strong institutions. We need to ensure that more than building individuals who are more powerful than the system, we need to build institutions. We need to ensure that the rule of law, we need to ensure that Nigeria is a nation where rule of law trumps every other consideration, because it's about democracy, and democracy is about rule of law and the institutions of government. And democracy cannot be so qualified without specific institutions being in place. Those institutions cannot but be strengthened if you want democracy to thrive. So the current administration, in my opinion, is taking the bull by the horn in terms of strengthening democracy. For instance, we talked about the authority of government.
Yes.
You cannot talk about democracy without the grassroots. The local government administrative system, over the years, seems to be neglected in the sense that most states of the federation, the administration of the local government structure at the subnational level, because the governors preside over the affairs of the state, and to a very large extent has taken on this local government administration as an appendage, which is a renus, of the states, and that's not supposed to be so. So this current administration has taken a bold step, a bold political, decision to ensure that the autonomy of this local government structure and administration is not only on paper or on the pages of the Nigerian Constitution, but that it's giving life and effect to the extent that the local government system can be said to be truly independent and autonomous. And not until that is done has been pursued rigorously by this current administration of President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We will not allow the effect of the dividend of democracy may find some blockades in trickling down to the grassroots. And not until that is done, the underserved areas of this country will still be neglected.
Thank you so very much for the answer. Then let's look at Nigerians. Do you think that Nigerians have taken the full responsibility as citizens as expected in a democracy?
To do justice to this question, you need to also find out that you must give credit to Nigerians. Nigerians are resilient, people. Our togetherness, to a very large extent, is a function of the commitment of Nigerians to our federation. Having said that, the experience of our young people, and I can say this because in the course of my community organization and activities, I've come across young people that gives me hope about this country. The strength of this country lies in our young people. And it's so because they are dogged, they are committed, they are intelligent, they are purposeful. The gains in Nigeria will extract from our young people is yet to be tapped, because regardless of the difficulties and the challenges we face as a people, you still see Nigerians breaking barriers, shattering, the ceiling to ensure that they excel both within and outside the country. And that's why I have this belief that with the right leadership in place, with the enabling environment being provided by government, Nigerians will do the rest. Nigerians are not asking for too much. They just want the government at every level, especially at the subnational levels, to create an enabling environment for them to thrive. And I think once that is done, you'll find out that Nigeria remains a great country with great citizens.
Okay, sir. Well, let's look at the subnationals, especially the states. What, in your view, do you think the states should do or should be doing to enhance the benefits or to ensure that the benefits of democracy accrues to the people of Nigeria?
Yeah, I think a whole lot, depends on what happens at the subnational level. Whether you're talking about economic development, whether you're talking about securing the lives and properties of people, regardless of the structure of the federation we run, the governors at the various states remains the chief security officers of their states. And a number of states are battling with insecurity. A number of states are battling with some challenge in terms of living up to the expectations and obligations placed on them by the office they occupy. And this is so partly because some states, a good number of the states, tends to depend so much on federation allocation that comes every month. In the past, history, is dotted with great economic development and achievements at the regional levels, where even when we had no access to oil and we have abandoned the farms, we've abandoned the alternative avenues for us to generate revenue at the subnational level. And everybody seems to, not indeed everybody, but a good number of states tend to depend a lot on what comes, from the monthly sharing of the federation account, federation allocation, and what comes around it. However, it is high time the governors at the subnational level begin to look inwards on how to generate more revenue, because every state has got its own opportunity that is unique to the state, that is not evenly distributed, and how you are able to harness that opportunity, to the global development of the state. To a very large extent will determine how successful, you will be in terms of managing the affairs of the state. So I don't see reason why, for instance, we should be talking about insecurity at every local level, every community. Every families, every kindred. So that structure is very clear. So when foreigners are coming in, you should be able to know. And then the problem at times is that we shy away from calling a spade a spade. When something is going wrong, we tend to support it until it metamorphoses into a hydra-headed monster that could, engulf each and every one of us. So we should be able to demonstrate our patriotism by calling a spade, by ensuring that even our citizens that will collaborate with government and give necessary information where necessary, to the law enforcement officers, especially when you talk about insecurity. And we should, it is an anomaly, for us to celebrate the attack on our law enforcement officers, on our military, it should not be supported, and because otherwise it's a recipe for anarchy. Because what we are saying is that we are trying to intrude lawlessness. When we begin to attack people who sacrifice their life to make us safe, our police officers, our law enforcement officers, the military, I think is a low moment, and we should rise up to ensure that these men and women who have dedicated themselves to the service of our fatherland are protected and allowed to carry out their responsibility and ensure that our state, our homeland is safe.
All right, thank you so very much for your answers. Okay, so right now, what would be your last word to the government of Nigeria and, of course, to the people of Nigeria at this moment as we mark our Democracy Day?
As we mark our Democracy Day, this is 1 year celebration. 29th May, the President and Commander-in-Chief of Nigeria clocked 1 year as President, as the Commander-in-Chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces, as somebody who is in charge of Nigeria in terms of administration. And I know Nigerians will be expecting that moving on into the second year, a whole lot of the complaints and challenges that Nigerians are bothered about could be addressed. And I'm very confident that Mr. President would, and his team, and it's also very interesting to note that Mr. President by himself has said that after 1 year in office, he would also have a second look at his cabinet and ensure that any appointee of government who is not living up to the expectations of the government and the Nigerian people would be relieved of his or her responsibility. That shows that the president is not interested in carrying anyone that will amount to a clog on the wheel of progress for both the administration and for Nigeria. And I'm very hopeful that as we start the second year of this administration, we'll begin to see some key deliverables being put forward for Nigerians to see that at least some of the challenges facing the country is being addressed.
We want to thank you so very much, Chief Sir Paul Chukwuma, the Pro-Chancellor of Oliver University and the former Auditor General of the All Progressives Congress. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.